Alright there, Weebs. Welcome to Behind the Weebs, a look behind the scenes of SunnyCon Anime Expo, an anime convention in the northeast of England. I'm Tucky, and it's been a while since I've done one of these, isn't it? So, as you probably saw, that we have announced our postponement from the 2021 dates to 2022, and I thought I'd just give a little bit of insight behind the scenes as to why we've had to postpone, even though the current UK government roadmap shows that we as an event could run ahead as normal. So I suppose the main thing to start off with would be that despite the government roadmap being that the 21st of June is when they hope that everything returns to normal, for us as an event, we've got to consider a lot more variables than just when the government gives the go-ahead. So it's kind of like if the government says, oh, you go ahead, do this, our responsibility, we'd be very negligent if we were just to go ahead and do whatever the government says. Because, we're in lockdown free and you're only supposed to have one lockdown during a pandemic. So it kind of shows that there's a lot of mistakes made along the way. And not to over-politicise this, but we've had to look into it, and having an event 4 days after the roadmap would be too much of a safety risk on our end. So this is the thing, the government roadmap says that June 21st, 2021 is when they expect our normality to come back, but what's kind of forgotten in this is that this is a every 5 week reviewed process. So you wait 5 weeks, they'll review how it's going, and then they'll adjust accordingly. And if we were to turn around now and say, right, we are definitely going full steam ahead, all it takes is one of these 5 weekly reviews, which I think there's about 3-4 of them before SunnyCon was due to go ahead. All it would take is for one of them reviews to turn around and say, we've went backwards a bit here, we're going to have to review it, and then the date changes to July, and then we as an event are left there with all these ticket sales and everything, and we'll have to postpone again, and it will be a little bit later than it should really be. So for us, we've had to take that into consideration, that these dates can change at any moment in time. So even though everyone's out there with like the come June 21st, I'm going to do this, that and the other, it's actually not as straightforward. As I've said, we should have had just like one lockdown, but here we are in lockdown 3. Every single lockdown that we've had, we've came out of it bad, and henceforth we are ending up in another one. So there was that, but the main issue that we have is that the vaccine rollout program, which the government currently has, states that everybody should have received their first vaccine by July, at least the end of July. And since we are 1 month before then, that leaves us with an issue, especially that our main attendee demographic is from the 24 to 18 and under. So that would mean approximately 70% of our attendees wouldn't have even had their first vaccine by the time the event rolls around. And we'd eventually turn the event into this super spreader event where the only protections you would have had, and like I say, this would be government guidelines, is that no masks or anything, and they'd be happy with people going around in a huge event with thousands of people, and it wouldn't end well for us or any one of our attendees. So we've took this into consideration. This is the main thing, because if there was some degree of immunity, then we might have been able to run ahead. Like, say, if the vaccine rollout had happened and everybody had at least had their first vaccine and had the 4 weeks that it needs to take for the body to accept that and grant some kind of immunity to it, because the current figures show that I think it's around about 80% successful with just one vaccine, then maybe we might have taken it a little bit more and considered it. But given that our main demographic probably won't have even had their first vaccine, it is too much of a risk for us to take. Ideally, when this started, we'd always looked at when people have had their second vaccine, and I believe it was 3 weeks it takes for them to actually gain the full immunity and benefits from it. So taking all that into consideration, we spoke with the venue, we put out our concerns, our fears, they agreed with us, and they were happy to move us to 2022. And we feel that it was the right decision to make, and attendee safety is always paramount, but we feel that it would just be too reckless to go straight into it like end of June when not many. There's still quite a number of people that won't have even been vaccinated, and immunity will have still been low to try and run an event like ours with the kind of numbers that we can bring in. So we don't want to take any risks, and we want you to know that your safety is always number one. So with all of that considered, our third and final big hurdle would have actually been consumer confidence. And as I've stated loads of times, we're not just a convention, it's not just a community event, there is a business element to it. And we obviously need the ticket sales, which would actually help us to afford things such as guests and all the other bits and bobs and venue hire. So we've been looking at it, and we've had a few traders and attendees come forward and say, if you are to run ahead, then I don't feel confident enough in actually attending, because they, like everybody else, kind of feels that it is a little bit too soon for the lockdown to end properly. And it's these fears that will keep people from attending these events, and rightfully so, as I've said. The vaccine is it's not fully rolled out until like July, so you don't want that kind of risk there. And for us, it would also be a financial risk. Should the roadmap go askew, then we've got a lot of refunds to process. Or if we get closer to the event and when we've actually paid for things like t-shirts, tote bags, flights, things that are non-refundable, we would be in another bigger financial hole than we currently are, and we don't want that. And all of that considered, it's quite difficult for us, as currently we would be doing other things like scheduling wise, we'd have orders in, and with no personal income, it's put us in quite a tricky position where we can't afford these things. And so rather than leave it till later and have things get worse, we thought we'd put it out now, discuss with the venue, and kind of just get ahead of this. And now we've moved our dates, we now have that confidence, we have certainty for the first time in nearly 2 years. We have the certainty that we can go forward, and 2022 will run as planned. From a personal standpoint, I can't see any events really running ahead until potentially end of October time. Given that the government's vaccine rollout says that everybody should have their first injection by July, and then you've got a maximum, I think it's 12 weeks. So you've got July, August, September, October. I think come the end of October, given it's the 3 weeks after the second vaccine when everybody receives like the max amount of immunity. This is from my own understanding, by the way. I'm nowhere am I medically qualified in any way. But I can't see any events running safely until the end of October. On a positive note, now we have clarity, now we have direction, now we have some confidence going forward. We hope to have a Kickstarter for 2021 merch. We hope to have some kind of virtual presence over SunnyCon weekend. And we also hope to be running a chibi event in the months before the next one, just to get us all together, because we've missed each other for so long now. And it's almost as if I feel as if we can forget how to run an event. So we need that chaos, we need it now. And have a little bit of optimism. We're nearly at the end of this. We're nearly out of the woods. And we hope to be there for the next coming years. And we hope to bring a little bit of sunlight into your life. So that's all from me. Please, if you will, if you're on our YouTube, watch our videos, like our videos. We are trying to grow our YouTube at the moment. Leave a like and comment below. And I will see you hopefully sooner rather than later. Toodaloo.